Hey guys, so Zaina Pamphil here once again with some business tips and tidbits just to help you guys. This is my way of giving back and just helping the community, the entrepreneurial community, and the community at large. So today's topic is how to validate if your business idea is viable. So first things first, a question I like to ask everyone, is your business idea just a great idea? Now the reason I ask that question is it's very easy for us to have great ideas, or sometimes our ideas could be like completely innovative, completely new, possibly we came up with this new invention, something great. But the reason I'm asking this question is because an idea being great still does not mean that your idea is going to work. So for example, let's say I invented a product that could make, let's say it's a winter jacket, right? And it's made of this really cool product, and it's cost effective and it keeps you extremely warm. Do you think that I would be able to sell that in St. Lucia even if my idea is remarkably great? No. So the reason I came up with this first question is it's very important that we think of who our market is so that we can know if our business idea can work for that particular market. And if it can't work, then we know we have to pivot or move to a different market. So the second point, market research. Now that I was already speaking about market, I decided, I'm going to speak about market research. I think it's super important to touch on that because a lot of people don't understand that is very important when you're starting a business. Even before you start, it is very important for you to do the market research. Now, for you to do that market research, there's a couple questions that you want to ask yourself. Who am I targeting? Who is my customer? And how much money is that customer willing to spend? Or how much money can they afford to spend? How much money do they make? What gender is my customer in? Are they men only? Is it females only? Is it both? Is it kids? These are the very important questions to ask because these will determine if your product could sell. It'll help you decide on the prices of your product so that you could actually reach those people. So it's very important to do that research. And some of the ways that you can do that research is through things like surveys. Back in the day, people used to knock on doors, with papers and ask people to fill in papers. But now, there are many other ways that you could conduct a survey without actually having to physically walk from door to door or physically go to people. There are lots of online surveys like SurveyMonkey, for example, which I use quite often. And it's a very good resource. So you can literally use your social media platforms and then create this online survey and literally just send it out to people. Send them the links, see what they say. But not just to anybody, send it to your target customers. And if you want to do a more general survey, then send it to everyone, and then with that information that you receive, you can now pinpoint, okay, who would be interested in whatever particular business idea or product that you're trying to sell. So third point, is your business idea or product a need? Is it need-based? The reason I ask this is because when something is not a need, it's not needed. I know that sounds so funny. But when something is not a need, the chances of your income being steady, it reduces that chance. So it's always good to have products that are need-based, things that never go out of style. So for example, if I invented bell-bottom jeans, let's say I'm the one who patented it, I created that style, it's mine, and then it goes out of style, I won't be able to make money off of it anymore. So it's good to have a product, or at least have a part of your product be something that is need-based, something that's steady, something that's always going to be wanted by your customers. That way you don't have to worry about cash flow, you don't have to worry about your business closing down as much, at least, and you don't have to worry about just every day trying to wonder will I make a sale. It's more of something that, okay, I know people need this, so it's easier to sell. It's always easier to sell things that people need. Okay, so number 4, what are the barriers to entry? Now if you're not familiar with that phrase, then let me just let you know what that means. Barriers to entry means how difficult is it for you to enter into the market? And I know you must be wondering, but where does that question come in? What does that have to do with validating my idea? That's important. Why? Because depending on how easy your market is to enter, you have to now think of, if it's really easy, then how many other competitors will I have? How many other competitors already exist? When more competitors come in, like that will decrease your cash flow, that will decrease your income. So then you have to think of all of these things, you know. So you want to make sure that your barriers to entry are high enough so that you don't have to struggle too much in terms of competition, or at least if it's not very high, find a way to make your business stand out to a point where even if you have competitors, you are so different, you are so unique, or there's something unique about your idea. Now I know that sounds funny, me saying, you know, the more difficult it is, the better. Since when does difficulty since when is difficulty ever a good thing, right? If the barriers to entry are difficult, that means it's going to be obviously difficult for you to enter. But what I can say is nothing good in life comes easy, and if you're focused and you're actually serious and want to see your business come through, just know that nothing will ever stop you. So you just have to push, get through, and know that, okay, maybe some of the competitors who aren't that serious about the business, or people interested in copying you, when they start seeing some of those barriers to entry, they will quit before they even start. And for the final point, are you bringing something different to the table? Guys, as I said earlier, I did touch on it a little bit. You have to have something different. You have to have something unique about your business, whether it be about the product or about the business model. Something needs to be unique. Something needs to be, for example, me. Something needs to be Zena. I need to have something about myself in my company, you know. There's this very famous quote that I keep seeing on Instagram, and it says something like, I'm not worried about people copying me, because that means I'll have to do it first for them to copy, right? They can't make their next move until I make mine. So you just have to have something really, really unique about your business and constantly innovate. You know, innovation and creativity is not something that you just do once and then you stop. You have to constantly go, because guess what? The world changes, the market changes, your customers might change, your product might have to change, your entire business idea might have to change. So just to summarize everything for you, what I really want to say is, many times as entrepreneurs we have really great ideas, and because the idea is great, sometimes we go to people with those ideas, whether it be mentors or other business people, because we want advice. And you know, sometimes they might just ask you certain questions. They won't tell you directly, you know, I don't think your idea will work, but they might ask you certain questions that's going to make you think. You have to ask yourself, whatever it is that your business idea is, can it work here? Can it work in this market? Let's say, let me give you St. Lucia for example. Can this work here? Will St. Lucians pay for this? What makes them buy products? Let's say, think of my competitors. What makes the customers that I want to attract buy from these people? You know, what about it? And you have to compete. You have to have a product that can compete. You can't just say, oh, I'm saving the planet, so people are going to support. Yes, there will be people who will support you just because of that fact. But you have to ask yourself, how many of those people are here? Is it sustainable? You understand? So a lot of these things are things you have to take into consideration, and don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to change your ideas. There's no business person you can speak to today who will tell you when they started the business was the same. Everything always changes, everything grows. An idea that I had, for example, from one of my businesses has completely evolved. It's something completely different now. So guys, don't be afraid of pivoting and changing. Don't be afraid of improving. Don't be afraid of moving away from what you really thought was great when you start to realize that it's not going to work. Because the reality is, it is better for you to pivot and become great than for you to stay stuck and just so attached to an idea that will not work. That's why there's this very good saying that I hear all the time, you know, it's better for a business person who's recognized that their business isn't working to close versus stay open and just like run your business at a loss or from your pocket and constantly be making a loss. You know, it's better to recognize that, okay, you know what, this is not working, stop, end it, and start something else, than to just do something just because you're so attached to an idea. So guys, make sure you do your market research. Make sure you analyze if your business is going to work in a particular market, and then ensure that you're doing yourself and your business justice. Enjoy the rest, guys. Love and light.